kid. Nobody really likes him. And we work for a company called Conservation Ambassadors. Now, what it is we do at our center is we give a home to rescued wildlife. Either to animals that have been injured somehow and can't be set free back out into the wild. Those animals are sent to us at our center. Or other times we have a big problem, especially here in the United States. We have a problem with people trying to make pets out of wild animals. Now that never ever works. It's also against the law, and those animals are taken away and sent to our center as well. Then what we do is give these animals lots of love, lots of attention, and lots of food. And the animals that we can, we train to travel, going mostly to school groups, giving us a chance to share some amazing rescue wildlife up close and personal. Now, we've actually been partnering with SeaWorld for the last 29 years, and we've gotten to witness some of the amazing rescue work that they continue to do. In fact, since SeaWorld first opened their gates, they have rescued and released over 40,000 animals. Now, that definitely deserves a round of applause. That is honestly incredible. And they're some of the best at what they do. So when SeaWorld asked us to come share some of our rescued wildlife with you, we were super excited to do so. And we brought some awesome animals for you guys to meet. But our first guest is one of my all-time favorites to share with an audience. And well, check him out. Come on out here, Ebu. This is Ebu, and what is he? Who? I'm messing with you. That's my only allergy. Yo, who? You guys are absolutely right. He is an owl. You're looking at the barred owl. Now, Ebu here, he actually came to our center because he was flying free about 14 years ago when he made a big mistake and accidentally flew down in front of a car. Now, the person, they couldn't stop, and they hit this poor bird, shattering his left wing. But they very bravely scooped him up and took him to a special wildlife vet that saved his life. But unfortunately, they couldn't save that left wing of his. So he's completely lost the ability to fly, which is why he's with us at our center. The owls, these guys are perfectly set up to fly and hunt at night. A couple things that help them. Number one are those eyes. See, owls' eyes are so good at seeing at night that if we turned off all the lights in here, if we made it so dark in this room that you couldn't even see your own hand, just without light, and we took one little candle, with one candle of light in the middle of a big room like this owl could see everything about as well as we see right now. That's what his eyes are. But there's a problem with his eyes. His eyes are so big. His eyes take up so much room in his owl skull that they're actually stuck, facing straight forward. So if he wants to look to the left, he has to turn his whole head to the left. The left. The left. I think he's broken. If he wants to the right, his whole head turns to the right. Very good. That's why he has that flexible neck and can turn his head how far? Almost one full time all the way around. Now, it's not like the cartoons. He can't go around. If he did that, his head would pop off. But he does have 7 extra neck bones that allow him to turn his head 270 degrees, almost one full time all the way around. Now, the second thing that helps them out, though, is in their wings. See, owls have specialized feathers called comb feathers that break up the wind, granting them the gift of silent flight. Now, that silent flight helps them out in 2 ways, because as they're flying through the forest at night, they're not only looking for food, they're listening for food. And if they were up there going flappity, 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 they can hear the mice and the rats that are down on the ground. The second way it helps them, those mice and rats, they don't hear him coming. He can make a sneak attack to capture his prey. Now, an owl this size will eat about 2 to 3 small rodents a night. They are a super important part of the balance of nature. They're out there making sure that we aren't overrun by the rodent world. Now, our next guest, though, has a reputation for being the ugliest animal on this planet, but I think he'll change your mind. But let's say goodbye to Ebu, the beautiful barred owl here.
Alright, and this is Twitch, our Virginia opossum. This is originally East Coast animal, but they spread all across the United States while the railroad tracks being built. In fact, they're brought state to state as a food source. But we came across Twitch here because one night, a lady was driving home and she saw a cute little fur ball running across the road. She tried her best to stop, but she had accidentally hit that fur ball. So she got out of her car and she saw that she'd hit an opossum. However, though, this lady's really, really smart. She'd done her research and she remembered reading somewhere that opossums are a marsupial. And we know marsupials now with a pouch. But what do they keep in that pouch? What do they keep in that pouch? There we go. So she got down real low. She bravely opened up that pouch, and what she found was 5 beautiful opossums. One of them being twitchier. So she swooped them on up and took them to the nearest rehab center, where they had the best chance of getting back out in the wild, and they were doing great. They were eating, they're foraging for their own food, they're getting bigger and starting to start climbing. They're even safe from people, except for Twitchier, who they had discovered had too many medical issues to be released back out in the wild with his siblings. So he found a home with us a couple months ago. And I know a couple months is young, but these guys, they only live 2 to 3 years. But check this out. In those 2 to 3 years, a mama opossum, they'll have up to 50 babies. Yeah, if I had 50 kids, I'd probably cough for 3 years too. Twitchy's an amazing animal. He's North America's only marsupial. But our next guest brings Predator to a whole new scale. Well, let's say goodbye to Twitch, our Virginia opossum.
Sit in your chair. No, here.
This is Spike, and he is the North American alligator. Now, the first question people always ask me is, JoJo, why does he bite you? And you guys know what the answer to that question is? Well, Spike here, he only bites Dodger fans. See, Spike, he's been doing educational programs with us for the past 37 years. See, 37 years ago, he was found being kept in a man's bathtub in Los Angeles, and he was taken away, and he's been helping us do programs ever since. But alligators, these guys are perfectly set up for life in the southern swamps. Everything from his nose being positioned on top of his snout to work like a snorkel, to these amazing spikes that run down his entire body and act like armor and protect him from other alligators. But then, he's got that big, long, muscular tail. That tail of his is the most well-muscled part of his body. He can pump that tail along and swim faster than a bottlenose dolphin can. Take that, Dolphin Stadium. Now, he even has 2,000 pounds per square inch of crushing power in that mouth. Whenever he grabs a hold of something, you can bet it's always his. But alligators, though, these guys are actually an animal that gives me hope. See, these guys give me hope because we almost lost these big, beautiful creatures. We almost lost the North American alligator because of this side skin. See, so many alligators were overhunted for that skin of theirs to make boots and belts and wallets and purses out of them, that we almost lost the largest reptile that we had here in the United States. But you guys know what happened? People got involved. They started protecting the alligators, they started protecting the alligators' habitats, and now the North American alligator has made such a strong comeback that there are over 2 million alligators in Florida alone. Now they have to have a hunting season just to manage the population, but it shows that if we truly care about a species, we can make a big difference out there in the wilds. But let's say goodbye to Spike, the North American alligator. No. You say, see you later? You know what? I did that bit in a school once, and this little kindergartner came up to us at the end of the program, and he said, see you later, alligator, to Spike. So I said, in a wild crocodile, and this little kindergartner looked me dead in the eye and said, see you soon, you big baboon. Got me right in the heart. But I'll tell you what, our next guest happens to be the only animal at our center that smells worse than Christian does. But let's give a round of applause to Spike one last time.
Fine. Also known as the Quindu. And I'm sure you guys have heard how they shoot their quills, right? So here's what we're gonna do. On the count of 3, we're all gonna clap one time really loudly. When we do this, Boris here is gonna shoot 10 to 20 quills towards the audience. So if you're in the front row, cover your eyes. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, can't believe you guys did it. Let's try it again, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, you guys know why nothing's happening? Because porcupines can't shoot their quills. Those quills are just hairs, sharp, stiff, and pokey, and when another animal touches them, that's when they're left behind. It's not like they're spring loaded and they can say fire missile 6 and shoot those quills out. But even though they can't shoot their quills, they're still some amazing animals, making up some of the largest members of the rodent family. From the African and Indian crested porcupines, weighing up to 50 pounds and having quills 2 feet long in length, or the fuzzy little tree climber, the North American porcupine with barbed quills that we have right here in the United States. But my absolute favorite to talk about is the South American porcupine, having over 30,000 quills covering every inch of his body, except for that cute little button nose of his, the very pads of his feet, and the tip of this prehensile tail. And you'll find these guys sitting up behind the canopies, sleeping in a hollow tree, waiting for nightfall. And when nighttime comes, that's when they poke their little heads out, getting ready to go on their nightly excursions. And they do that with confidence because of that awesome hairdo of theirs. If a big predator comes along and tries to spook him, he's gonna shake his entire body like a big spiky maraca, warning that predator off that he's gonna make one extremely prickly meal. But we came across Boris here because he came to us from an animal production company that was shut down due to lack of funding. So he's retired from life on the big screens to now doing programs with us. Still a bit of a diva though. Now, our next guest is one of the most iconic animal on the planet, but let's say goodbye to Boris, our pokey friend, the Quindu.
Hi big girl, this is Spirit, and she is the bald eagle. Now, you guys, up you go girl. You guys can definitely see why we have Spirit at our center. See, she was on one of her very first flights up in Sitka, Alaska, when she tried to steal a fish from a commercial fisherman. And this person didn't take kindly to that and shot this big beautiful bird in her left wing. And somehow, this young bird managed to swim her way back to shore where she was taken in by the Sitka Raptor Center. And they saved her life, but once again, they couldn't save that left wing of hers, and they had to amputate it below her elbow. So she's completely lost the ability to fly. She also has some balance issues, especially when I'm on the move. Now, bald eagles though. These guys are one of the most recognizable and inspiring animals on this planet, but once again, we almost lost these beautiful creatures. We almost lost the bald eagles due to a chemical called DDT. See, DDT was this miracle pesticide. People would spray it on their crops, they would even spray it on their children. And nobody was being hurt directly, but that chemical would wash in the riverways. It would be absorbed by the fish. The eagles would then eat those fish, and the eagles themselves would survive. But they ended up with a calcium deficiency. And that calcium deficiency resulted in the bald eagles laying very, very soft eggs. And so when they would nest, the eggs would break, and no new generations of eagles were being born. Now here's the thing. DDT was banned in the 70s. It was done being used, but the problem was still occurring, and our national symbol was in danger of going extinct. It actually took the help of passionate people that go out and watch the bald eagles' nests, waiting for moms to lay their eggs. Right when those eggs were laid, they would chase mom away, which is not as easy as it sounds. They would take the soft eggs back to incubate them and leave fake eggs in the nest. Now, right when those babies would hatch, they rushed them back to that very same nest, and this was working surprisingly well. But the best part was, those babies didn't have the chemical in their system anymore. They were able to reproduce on their own. And this worked so well that in 2007, the bald eagles were able to be taken off the endangered species list, and our national symbol is thriving once again in our waterways, which I think is very cool to see. Now, bald eagles though, these guys are incredible animals. She has eyesight that is 6 times better than yours or mine. She has close to 1,000 pounds per square inch of crushing power in those talons of hers. And these birds are even known. If they catch a fish that's too heavy for them to fly with, they'll swim it back to shore. They're an amazing fisher and scavenger, and I'm absolutely honored to be able to share her with you guys. And she might fall off my glove again when I turn to leave, but let's give a hand to Spirit, the beautiful bald eagle here.
All right, and this is Pepe, and what is he? That's right, but he's not just any skunk, he's a striped skunk. And you can tell by these beautiful racing stripes going down his back. Now there's also a spotted skunk as well as a hawk-nosed skunk. It's got a nose kind of like a pig. But the one thing all these skunks have in common is that spray. Have you guys heard of the spray before? No. Arm shot works in. I'm just kidding, don't you guys worry. that one will be for the end of my career, and it's definitely gonna happen at a junior high school. Now, skunks here, they don't have the fastest feet, the sharpest claws, or the strongest bite. So all they have to defend themselves out there with is that spray. So let's say a big old predator comes along and tries to spook him. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna throw a really big fit. He's gonna start by stomping those front feet, letting that predator know that he is a skunk and he is gonna spray. And if that first one isn't good enough, he's gonna do full-on handstands. And if they don't list those handstands, well, he's gonna spray. And he can spray up to 15 feet. Some of you guys in our front row here, you're in our spray zone. Now, that smell is not even the worst part. That spray gets in that predator's eyes, their nose, their mouth, and it burns, working like nature's pepper spray. But we came across Pepe here because unfortunately, his mama was hit by a car. When they pulled over, they saw little Pepe standing on the side of the road. But I gotta tell you, there is nothing cuter than a baby skunk. They look like little killer whales waddling down the road. So she swooped him on up and tried to make a pet out of him. And then if that wasn't enough, she also removed his scent glands. So when they got caught, well, the Pepe here had no way to defend himself out in the wild. Now our next guest has been recognizably one of the most famous animals on the planet, making their way through Instagram. Her name is Tater Tot. Well, let's say goodbye to Pepe, our striped skunk.
Now this is Tater Tot, and what is she? Capybara. Now, back when I was a kid, which was not that long ago, nobody knew what these animals were. And now, ever since they've been known for making friends with odd animals, they've been blowing up social media. Kind of amazing. Now, Tater Tot, though, the capybaras, they're from the rainforests of South America, where they live alongside top-tier predators like crocodiles, caiman, jaguar, and anaconda. So these guys, when they are first born, they have to be ready to survive. So a baby capybara that is only 1 day old can already walk and run. They can already swim. See those big webbed feet of hers? These guys like the water so much that nature has given them an extra eyelid, a built-in pair of swimming goggles, so they can see perfectly under the water. So day 1, they can walk and swim. By day 4, they start eating solid foods, and that's when they really start to grow. And she'll grow and get bigger and bigger until eventually she weighs over 110 pounds, making her the largest rodent on this planet. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But like all rodents, she has ever-growing teeth. The 4 front teeth in her mouth are made out of keratin, the same stuff as your fingernails. So she constantly needs to chew on hard woods or hard foods in order to keep those teeth at a healthy level. Now, Tater Tot, though, she came to our center in kind of an unusual way. See, there was a breeding program out in Arizona that bred animals for other zoological facilities. But the owner was in a car accident and passed away. So they need to find homes for a lot of his animals. So they called us up and asked if we could give some of their animals a home. And we took in a capybara as well as some other really amazing animals. But the capybara that showed up at our center gave birth 2 days later. Now here's the thing. She was in a new area and she was not being a very good mom. She was not taking care of her babies. So do you know what I had to do? I had to take Tater Tot in. I had to give her a bottle every 3 to 4 hours. I gave her all the right foods, make sure she was getting big and strong. But you remember how I said they like to chew on hard things? Well, Tater Tot doesn't like to chew on hard things necessarily, but what she likes to chew on is everything I love. Whether it's my video game controller, my brand new coffee table, my favorite t-shirt, if I love it, she chews on it and she is rapidly ruining my life. But she is an amazing animal though, and she's gonna become an awesome animal ambassador for her kind. Now, did you guys enjoy those animals though? I hope you did, and I hope you guys learned something. But because we get to work with all these awesome wild animals, people tend to ask us this one question. They tend to ask us what our favorite animal is. And I feel like they're always expecting answers like monkeys, lions, tigers, or elephants. And you know what? We love the wildlife. That's why we do what we do. But my favorite animal, without question, without a doubt, is this next guest. His name is Basil, and you guys will definitely know what he is when you see him. Well, check him out. Come on out here, Basil. Come on, buddy. Take your time. Yes, this is my favorite animal. I trust him, he trusts me. I know he wants to be with me. You have to know the wild animals belong in nature where they're truly supposed to be. Anyways, thank you so much for coming and listening to our rescue tales, and enjoy the rest of your day here at SeaWorld, everybody. Thank you very much for coming.